You'll say something clumsy. You'll miss a cue. You'll react too fast. That doesn't make you a bad communicator. It makes you human. What matters most is not flawless execution, but your willingness to repair. I realize that may have come off wrong. I want to try again, more clearly. I care about this conversation. Can we reset? These words, they disarm defenses. They reopen doors. They rebuild trust. People don't need your perfection. They need your presence, your responsibility, your care. Don't avoid hard moments. Lean in. Repair with courage. You'll build something stronger in the process. You weren't born with a complete emotional vocabulary. Most of us weren't taught how to say, I feel abandoned. I feel dismissed. I feel proud. I feel enough. But emotional fluency can be learned. It's a muscle you build through reflection, through modeling, through gentle repetition. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to stay curious. Today, notice your emotions. Label them kindly. Don't judge them, just name them. Say it aloud. I feel overwhelmed. I feel excited. I feel anxious and hopeful at the same time. Language creates room. It helps your body breathe. It helps others understand you. So let this be your lifelong practice, not for eloquence, but for connection. And when the moment comes when your words won't stretch far enough, know that Devon Lee will meet you in the next hour with even more language for love, for courage, and for the chaos of being human. There's power in the first word, in breaking the silence, in daring to speak your truth, especially when your truth has been shamed, ignored, or erased. Too many of us were taught that keeping peace meant staying quiet, that expressing ourselves was too much, that asking questions was disrespect. But today we disrupt that narrative. You have the right to use your voice, not just to defend, but to define. Your voice isn't just for emergencies. It's a tool of creation, a medium of clarity, a carrier of connection. When you speak with intention, you realign your nervous system. You reclaim your boundaries. You bridge the gap between isolation and belonging. Today, begin by naming how you feel. No justification, no apology, just naming. I feel overwhelmed. I feel hopeful. I feel unseen. That's the doorway. That's where communication begins. And once that door is open, everything else becomes possible. Boundaries are not walls. They are doorways with conditions. They tell others, yes, I want connection, but not at the expense of my peace. Yes, I care about you, but not more than I care about myself. Healthy communication includes expressing what is okay and what is not, without drama, without blame, without collapse. Today, you might practice this with one small phrase: I'm not available for that. Or, that doesn't work for me right now. It may feel clumsy at first, but clarity is a muscle, and every time you use it, it strengthens. Boundaries are not rejection. They are precision. They are the grammar of self-respect, and you are allowed to speak them fluently. Let's talk about presence, not the loud kind, but the grounded kind. There's a way of showing up in conversation that doesn't require volume or apology. You've been conditioned, perhaps, to soften your tone, minimize your truth, edit your needs just to stay liked, just to be accepted. But communication is not performance. It's not about being palatable. It's about being honest. And honesty isn't cruelty, it's clarity. So today, we practice holding our ground without raising our voice, saying what we mean, without sharpness or self-erasure. You are allowed to take up conversational space with calm, unapologetic selfhood. Not to dominate, but to be whole. Not to win, but to connect. That's not arrogance. It's alignment. Communication is not only expression, it's reception. There is profound healing in being truly heard. So today, make space. When someone speaks, don't rush to fix. Don't fill the silence. Don't prepare your reply while they speak. Just listen. Let them feel your presence in your stillness. Let your eyes tell them, I hear you, I'm here. And when it's your turn to speak, respond, not just react. Reflect their emotion. Validate their experience. You are not just a communicator. You are a mirror. And your capacity to listen well determines the depth of your relationships. Start there. Start with presence. The rest follows. Not every conversation is easy. Some require courage. Some require repair. But healing often begins with language. A sincere, I was wrong. A humble, can we talk? A vulnerable, that hurt me. You don't need perfect words. You need real ones. When we avoid the discomfort of communication, we prolong the wound. But when we speak, especially with care and humility, we open the door to reconnection. Repair doesn't mean erasing the past. It means building a bridge forward, one sentence at a time. So ask yourself, who needs to hear your truth today? Who needs your willingness to listen? Maybe it's someone else. Maybe it's yourself. Either way, the healing begins in language. Honesty without kindness is cruelty. Kindness without honesty is avoidance. So today, practice the art of both. That means saying what you mean without venom. It means setting the boundary without shaming. It means naming the need without accusation. It's possible to be clear and compassionate at the same time. You might say, I felt dismissed in that moment, and I want to understand what happened. Or, I care about you, which is why I need to be honest about what's been difficult for me. These are not confrontations. They are invitations to understanding, to growth, to real intimacy. And you are allowed to offer them. You are allowed to be both firm and kind. Your thoughts have weight. Your feelings have form. Your voice deserves the room. So often we shrink, not because we lack clarity, but because we doubt our right to share it. But clarity isn't entitlement. It's alignment. You are allowed to speak clearly, to say, "This is what I value," to say, "This is what I need," to say, "This is what I will not accept." You don't need to justify your boundaries. You don't need to water down your message. You don't need to apologize for existing out loud. This is not permission to be harsh. It's permission to be whole. So today, let your voice be a reflection of your self-knowledge, of your respect for others, and of your belief that connection begins with truth. Here's a truth many of us never learned. People are not mind readers. Your needs are not obvious, even when they feel urgent. That's why naming them matters. I need more time. I need quiet space. I need encouragement, not advice. These are not burdens. They are blueprints for healthier connection. Needs aren't weakness. They are signposts pointing to how we can love and be loved better. When you name a need, you offer others a chance to show up. You create conditions for consent, co-creation, and clarity. And if they cannot honor your need, you learn something valuable. Not everyone will meet you where you are, but you are still allowed to speak your location. And that alone is a radical act of self-relationship. Let's start with a sentence that can change your life. No, thank you. It's simple, but for many it feels impossible. Why? Because saying no can trigger fear of rejection, of conflict, of disappointing others. But every no is also a yes to your capacity, your limits, your values. Saying no doesn't make you rude. It makes you responsible for your energy, your schedule, your peace. So today, give yourself permission to choose discomfort over resentment. You can decline the request. You can say, "I'm not available for that," or "That doesn't align with what I need right now." The more you practice, the less it feels like betrayal, and the more it feels like self-respect. No is a sentence, and you are allowed to use it without guilt. How often do you catch yourself adding 3 paragraphs of context just to justify a boundary? I can't make it because I have to do this and that, and I'm really sorry and I feel bad. Let's pause that. You don't owe everyone your biography. You don't need to justify your no with a dissertation. You can simply say, "I can't. I'm not available. I won't be attending." Your decisions are valid even if someone else doesn't understand them. The urge to over-explain comes from fear of judgment, of disapproval. But maturity in communication means trusting that your truth stands on its own. Let your words be clean. Let your decisions be clear. Let your boundaries be boundaries, not negotiation invitations. You might think boundaries push people away, but the truth is, healthy boundaries build deeper connections. Why? Because they create safety. They clarify expectations. They eliminate guesswork. When someone knows where your lines are, they don't have to tiptoe around your silence. They can show up fully because they know the shape of your yes and the edges of your no. Boundaries are not walls. They are bridges to more honest, more respectful, more sustainable relationships. So don't wait for resentment to become your communication style. Name your boundary early, kindly, clearly, calmly. You're not being difficult. You're being direct. And in the right spaces, that's not only welcome, it's respected. Sometimes you'll do all the right things and still be misunderstood. You'll communicate with care. You'll use kind language. You'll offer your truth with calm. And someone will still hear what they want to hear. That's not a failure. That's reality. You are not responsible for someone else's willingness to listen. You are responsible for your intention, your tone, your alignment. Misunderstanding hurts, but it doesn't mean you should silence yourself. It means you keep refining your clarity, not chasing approval. Say what's true. Say it gently. Say it once. And if it's not received, release the need to control the outcome. Your peace is more valuable than perpetual explanation. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to advise. You don't have to respond right away. You can just listen fully, patiently, curiously. Listening is not waiting for your turn to speak. It's holding space without judgment. It's choosing presence over performance. It's receiving someone's truth without trying to reshape it. When you really listen, people feel seen. They soften. They feel safe. You don't need all the answers. You just need to be a witness to someone else's process, to their pain, to their power. So today, listen with your eyes, with your body, with your silence. That kind of listening, it's rare, and it's holy. 3 words that build trust fast. Tell me more. They say, I'm here. I'm interested. I'm not judging. You don't need perfect empathy. You just need honest curiosity. When someone shares something tender, don't rush to a solution. Don't leap into a story about yourself. Stay with them. Tell me more about that. How long have you felt this way? What was that like for you? These questions don't interrogate, they invite. They deepen the moment. They honor the speaker. They say, I value your experience, as it is, not as I want it to be. Practice that today. Make space. Ask open-hearted questions. Then let the silence speak volumes. Ever find yourself replaying a future conversation in your head? Rehearsing every word, every possible reaction? You're not alone. That's your brain seeking safety, trying to prepare for discomfort. It's okay to script your truth in advance. Not because you owe perfection, but because preparation builds confidence. You can write it down. You can practice in the mirror. You can breathe through it. I need to share something important to me. This might be hard to hear, but it matters. I want to communicate clearly, not perfectly. These openings help set tone. They signal care, not combat. So if your voice shakes, that's okay. If you forget a line, that's okay too. It's not a performance. It's an act of courage. There's something powerful about choosing silence in a world that worships noise. Not every pause needs to be filled. Not every gap needs a word. Not every moment demands an answer. Silence can hold weight. It can signal reflection. It can create space for depth. When you're in conversation, let the silence stretch just a little. You might be surprised at what truth rises to the surface. Sometimes it's in the quiet that we hear what matters most. You don't always have to be eloquent. You just have to be present. Let your breath speak. Let your eyes soften. Let your calmness create room for the other person to meet you in the middle. In that silence, connection unfolds. Somewhere along the way, you were taught to shrink, to quiet your voice, to soften your truth. Maybe they called you dramatic, too intense, too sensitive, too emotional. But hear this clearly, you are not too much. You were just too much for someone who wasn't enough for you. Your feelings are valid. Your needs are human. Your sensitivity is strength, not a flaw. You don't have to apologize for needing clarity, for wanting honesty, for asking for consistency. The right people won't make you feel like your presence is a burden. You are not too needy. You are not too loud. You are not too deep. You are allowed to be exactly as you are, without dilution. If you grew up walking on eggshells, even calm conversations can feel like confrontation. You brace, you second guess, you overthink every word. But not every conversation is a fight. Not every disagreement is danger. Not every silence is punishment. This is old programming from environments that confused honesty with hostility. Today, let's rewire that belief. Disagreement doesn't mean disconnection. Someone being upset doesn't mean you failed. Tension isn't always a threat. Sometimes it's just growth. You are allowed to speak up without everything falling apart. You are allowed to clarify, to ask, to express. Healthy relationships can hold the weight of real words. Practice that today, not as a test of perfection, but as a